Hey guys, it's Mr. Schmidt here, and in this video, we're looking at topic 3.4 types of profit. So, what we're doing in this video is setting up what is the most important metric for any business, which is your profit, right? And I wanted to start by revisiting a term we actually first encountered when we were talking about elasticity and particularly the total revenue test. And that's total revenue. Remember, total revenue is price times quantity. In other words, the price per unit you're selling the product at times how much you sell. And if we take total revenue minus total cost, we get what's called profit. And that's far more of a useful metric to a firm than total revenue because you can have a really big total revenue, but if your costs are even higher, your profit's going to be a negative. You're going to be taking a loss. A good example of this is the company MoviePass, which basically sold a subscription for like $10 a month, and you could see as many movies as you wanted. And that was great. They were making a lot of revenue, but their costs to do so were so much higher that they were taking massive losses and eventually had to change their whole structure of the company and how they sold their product and what they sold it for. And it was a whole thing. So just to give you clarity there. Now, when we talk about profit, one thing we need to keep in mind is something called explicit costs. These are payments made by firms for using someone else's resources. So, for example, if a firm has to pay rent, that payment for the building goes to someone else. And so that's a cost for using someone else's resources. In this case, landlord's land. Wages are payments given to workers for the cost of using their resource of labor. So, anytime a firm is paying someone else to use their resources, that is an explicit cost. Now, if we take our total revenue minus explicit costs only, we get what's called accounting profit. It's called accounting profit because this is the type of profit that accountants will calculate for a business. And this is typically what you think of as profit. When a company, you may read a news article and they're talking about profits of that company, typically they're referring to accounting profit. However, one other term that we need to be aware of in this course is implicit costs. These are opportunity costs firms pay for using their own resources. And the reason economists bring in opportunity costs, I think, is best illustrated by this example with Bill Gates. So Bill Gates was the founder of Microsoft, right? And so if instead of starting Microsoft, he opened a lemonade stand, he would have incredibly high implicit costs in the billions of dollars because a lemonade stand, no matter how great Bill Gates is at selling lemonade, he would make nowhere near as much money as he would have by starting Microsoft. And so it's really high implicit costs. And so, what an economist would say is that a firm should not just consider the explicit costs of the resources, but also what is the firm giving up? What is the firm saying no to by engaging in the business that they are? And so, we as economists are much more concerned with what's called economic profit, which is total revenue minus all costs, both explicit and implicit costs. And this is what economists think of as profit. And from now on, whenever I say the term profit, or you see the word profit in an AP question, it is referring to economic profit, unless the word accounting is specifically mentioned. So that's the idea of economic profit. A normal profit is a special kind of economic profit that is equal to zero. We'll come back to why that matters later on in the unit. And then the last bit of notes here, accounting profit is always greater than economic profit or equal to economic profit because accounting profit does not include explicit costs or does not include implicit costs. Sorry about that. So accounting profit will always be greater than or equal to economic profit because it includes fewer costs than economic profit. All right, so let's wrap up here with a AP style multiple choice question. So go ahead and look over the question, and then we'll go over the answer. So the correct answer here is going to be A, negative $5,000 or a loss of $5,000. So how do we get this? Well, in a question like this, the first thing I look for is the total revenue. So that's 155,000. And because we're looking for economic profit, we're going to subtract out all of her costs, both explicit, which in this case would be the $125,000 for her workers, materials, etc., and also the implicit cost of the 10,000 because that's what she could be doing instead, and the salary she gives up by being employed. And so if we subtract these three numbers from 155,000, we get a loss of $5,000. So that's all for this video on types of profit. Until next time, have a great day.